What's up? Welcome back. Episode 2. We're here. I'm Peyton. That's Devin. All right, guys. So, first thing we want to get into corrections from last week. I said that New Orleans didn't have a stadium. They do. I knew about Ullman Stadium for Tulane, but I had read online, or I thought I had read online, that they said no one else could use the stadium. I didn't mention that. And I looked online today, yesterday, and a couple other days to verify, and I couldn't find any of the articles that I thought I had read. So I was wrong. Two, another thing I said last week, I called Northern Illinois an FCS school, and they are not. They beat Notre Dame last year. Northern Iowa is the FCS school. That's who I was referring to. But hold on. Before we get to the next topic, I got to grab something real quick.
Man was waiting for me to join, tapping his fingers, waiting for me because I was running a bit late because I have family. Yeah,
We did it. All
there we
right.
go.
Professional. All right. So, what other corrections did we have to make?
The only one I knew about was that I was worried about was the Ullman Stadium. In relations to having New Orleans getting a team relocated to there because
Yeah.
obviously you don't want to use whatever it's called, the Superdome, Mercedes-Benz, whatever. Ullman Stadium fits 30,000 people. It would be a deal you would have to do with Tulane University, but they do have that, and it's right there in the middle of New Orleans.
Yeah. I knew about it. I had thought I had read online that Yeoman Stadium didn't exist. And literally the next day you sent me it and I was like, I knew about the stadium. I thought that they weren't allowed to use it. All right. Did the corrections. Now,
I got a couple shout outs.
huh?
I got a couple shout outs.
You want to give them now?
Yeah, I'll just do it right now. I want them to know that I know they know that I know.
All right, go for it.
First Mario. Mario subscribed today. So super excited about that. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna subscribe." I was like, "Thank you, man. I appreciate it." And then I had to take a lift to work today. I'm getting in the lift. I'm tired. I don't want to be up at 7 a.m. and I stayed up way too late. And I get in and I get to my driver. I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Danny?" He goes, "Hey, man, are you a football guy?" I was like, "Boy, let me tell you." So shout out to you, Danny. I hope you're watching this one. I appreciate that we had a really good conversation about football for about like that 30-minute drive. So I really appreciate that.
30 minute? Oop. All right. No, traffic. Okay. Danny and Mario, appreciate you guys. Moving on to NFL preseason, really NFL in general, things that we need to hit on, I guess, today. The thing I'm going to start with, and I don't know if you have any topics you want to go to, but the thing I want to talk about is first, anyway, Daniel Jones, starting quarterback, Indianapolis Colts. 2 years ago, they drafted Anthony Richardson.
Yep.
And then like I don't watch preseason football. I watch some preseason football. Um, but I really watch preseason football when I like know a UFL player's in there or a college player that I really like or something like that. But yeah, so I watched some Daniel Jones and don't get me wrong, he makes some great throws sometimes, but like overall, like I think what it came down to was Daniel Jones floor, like his floor, his playing ability floor right now is higher than Anthony Richardson's floor. Daniel Jones is more consistent, but the top end talent, like when Anthony Richardson, if he can ever get going and be consistent at his top towards his top end, um, he's a monster. He makes freak throws, he makes freak plays.
Yeah.
So, the little piece of me that was an Indianapolis Colts fan when Peyton Manning played there was a little hurt because I really wanted to see Anthony Richardson be successful. but also would be okay with Anthony Richardson seeking a trade and going somewhere. I heard the Steelers were interested as a replacement for Aaron Rodgers after he leaves, which I mean they already tried that with Justin Fields. We'll see. But yeah, so Anthony
Right.
Richardson, uh, Daniel Jones for the Colts.
I think Anthony Richardson's biggest problem, and it's the problem that a lot of people were like, "That's an interesting pick that you made with him," because he's very big, he's very athletic, but he didn't have great quarterback play at
His senior
Florida.
year, he had pretty good play. Like he made some plays that were outstanding. I think what you
But
watch
it
is you
wasn't it
watch
wasn't
highlights.
it wasn't it was he had great highlights, but it wasn't consistent.
Yeah,
The team overall didn't do great.
I
And I
no
think
complaints
and there
there.
was a bunch of people who were just kind of like, hey, if we could just like get him consistent, get him going, he's going to be great.
Yeah,
But the problem is he's not doing that. He's not consistent. He's struggling somewhere, and I don't know where it is, but he's struggling somewhere, and that's why Daniel Jones is getting the start over
yeah.
him.
Daniel Jones is just more consistent. It's like that's all it comes down to is like, yeah, you can do a lot of great things for us. And I from like everything they say about him, like in the building, they say he's like a really great team guy. Anthony Richardson, I'm talking about. And they talk about Daniel Jones too. And even the GM recently said that they know that they're not done with Anthony Richardson. He's just a project that needs a little bit more time because the talent is there. It's just putting all the pieces together. I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with the roster building, but why would you have Anthony Richardson get beat up another year when you could throw in a quarterback like Daniel Jones, let him get beat up for a year, let Anthony Richardson learn from him, learn from get some knowledge through watching as opposed to playing. So that way he can come in maybe next year, maybe 2 years from now, and have learned a lot, kind of like a Jordan Love situation, or really,
Sometimes watching, I feel like sometimes when a quarterback is on the sideline, they're watching, they're learning the system without the pressure of having to play in that system. And it makes them a lot more comfortable when they have to come out. It's why the Cowboys backup quarterback, Cooper Rush,
yeah,
left this offseason. But every time he came in, the Cowboys were stayed consistent. But he had been such a backup for such a long time, or he had been a backup for such a long time that he knew the system very well, he knew the players very well, and it allowed him to perform good enough where the Cowboys were still getting wins and still staying competitive while Dak Prescott was out.
yeah. Well, I mean, competitive. I wouldn't call it that. Moving on. Joe Flacco was named the starting quarterback for the Browns. I mean, they have a lot of rookies. I think they had like six quarterbacks on the roster with Tyler Huntley. Um, it's kind of funny because Joe Flacco was on the Colts last year, but the year before that, he was on the Browns
And he took
and
him into the playoffs.
he led them to the playoffs. Interesting. Joe Flacco's 40. I think he's the same age as Aaron Rodgers, if not slightly older, maybe slightly younger. But they're around the same age. Joe Flacco, I mean, resume slightly different, but when you consider like they both have only won one Super Bowl, and Joe Flacco still plays at a pretty high level. He can get a team some wins, and the Browns have a really good roster to where, you know, using Joe Flacco's experience, I actually think that makes the Browns decently competitive in their division. Like, I'm not, I mean, granted, it's not like eye popping, but, like if you want a good team or you want to compete, right, this year and have a chance to win this year, which obviously they do, I think starting Joe Flacco over one of the rookies that they have, Dylan Gabriel or Shador Sanders, who I think are the two guys that are next up on the list for them. And obviously you have Deshaun Watson, who I don't think is going to play this year by what it looks like. It looks like he's kind of
Yeah, I think when he
yeah,
got re-injured, I think that pushed his timeline back to beyond this year.
yeah. So
So just the way I see the situation is Joe Flacco is a experienced vet
Mhm.
He knows how to win. He knows, he knows what he's doing. The only thing really going against him is he's older, so maybe he doesn't hold up as well if he's taking a lot of hits. But if you're keeping him protected, I mean, that's a big maybe. It's like some dudes,
Yeah, he's a big dude. Like he's
yeah, he's got
kind of gives
that.
me like he's a lot more, probably more athletic than Ben Roethlisberger was at this age. But Ben
Yeah,
Roethlisberger is like so big that like, especially younger Ben Roethlisberger. Towards the end, Ben Roethlisberger would like come out and be like, "Can't play, hurt my thumb." But but like in his prime, his youthful days, Ben Roethlisberger would just tank shots in the pocket. And Joe Flacco maybe doesn't tank shots, but he's still a little more athletic than that. But he's also a bigger guy. I think he's 6'5", 6'4". He's a sturdy dude. So I don't think
yeah,
injury is that big of a concern. But when you're 40, like I'm only 29 and I'll pull my hamstring running a sprint, so I can't say much
right.
about it. Next one, quarterback heavy, Jameis Winston. Uh, Teams were seeking trades, and the New York Giants GM came out and said he's a team guy and he's going to be here. And I don't even know if Jameis Winston is projected to start, but honestly,
Because
I would
it's
start
Winston, it's Jackson Dart,
Russell Westbrook
Russell
or not
Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook playing quarterback. Yeah, Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson's. Here's the thing with Russell Wilson. He used to do a lot of things really well. And when you watch his tape now, I think the only thing left that he does well, really well, is throw a deep ball. Like, I mean, he's still mobile. But I don't know. I don't know what happened, but like all that, all that Seahawks money, Super Bowl money got to him, I guess. And he just doesn't like it doesn't like pop like Russell Wilson watching him. I remember when I was in high school at this point, but it used to be when we watched Russell Wilson play, that dude like popped off. Like he was just like he would make free plays and
Mhm.
crazy, he was really smart. But now I just don't he doesn't have that playmaking ability anymore besides the deep ball. And honestly, I think Jameis Winston, while somehow throwing more interceptions all the time, is a better passer, like a more accurate passer. Like Jameis Winston throws like insane passes to this day. He will make a insane completion. Um, yeah, that QB room's weird because I honestly could see all three of them starting at some point this year, and I wouldn't doubt if it happened. But Jameis Winston's like the ultimate, like what in his stage of his career until I see otherwise. Right now, he's like the ultimate backup, like what you want in like a real backup quarterback because he's seen a lot, he's done a lot, he has the talent
Mhm.
in decent games. But I don't think over a 17 game season he's going to be, that guy. But if you want a quarterback just in case something happens to just come in and, be a spark plug, I think a plug and play guy, like all that, I think Jameis Winston is like the prototype of that.
I think I agree. I think whoever's going to start is, I mean, I don't think they've even answered that question yet, but I definitely say I would rather have Jameis Winston over Russell Wilson.
Yeah. And that's insane to say. Like the fact that
I
we
mean,
got,
you went back 10 years ago and you said that you'd be like, that's insane, or,
it depends on how long, 2 years, how deep into 2 years ago you're talking about, because Russell Wilson came to the Broncos and they swore they were going to win a Super Bowl with him. They're like, we're back. They were not back. The last quarterback we're going to talk about, well, two, sort of. We're going to talk about Stetson Bennett. Looked really good in his last preseason game against the Chargers. He looked really good. He threw for like 300 yards. Well, kind of. I'll get into the kind of here in a second because first I want to talk about Matthew Stafford. All these people have the LA Rams as like a Super Bowl contender, like a playoff team. And all that rides on the fact that Matthew Stafford can physically go within the first 5 weeks. And did you see the video of him practicing?
I did not.
He he had back. He has a I forget what the back issue is, but something with his back. And he jogged around some. He looks like he has a back injury. He's moving like he has a back injury. And then
Hmm.
watched him throw a football like 10 yards. And I just was like, he doesn't, I don't see him being ready to go to start the season. So I think LA might have to start Stetson Bennett, which is good because he got some good play. He played a whole preseason game, which is unheard of. He got some good playing time, but also like with Stetson Bennett, like there would be some plays he'd make, and you're just like, ugh. And granted, he took a whole, I think all of last year, he wasn't with the team.
Yeah, he was separated for some
Like
issues.
mental health problems. So like
Mhm.
you're talking about a guy that probably hasn't thrown like he's probably throwing routes on air at most. You know what I mean? Just dudes running slants if he even did that. And so now he's coming back and he's kind of getting into the swing of things. But Stetson Bennett was a monster in college. He was like Georgia's Baker Mayfield. As OU fans, we can understand what that means. And so he really better. I mean, he didn't. I don't think he won a Heisman. Maybe he should have. Moving on from that, was he was incredible, electric at Georgia. Made plays. I mean, granted, he had a lot of playmakers, uh, but from his from his preseason game, he did pretty good. I was like, oh, I mean, granted, he's probably playing backups, but he made some bad throws. But some throws he made were really great. So I just think it's an interesting thing to watch if you have the LA Rams as a Super Bowl possible team. If Matt Stafford can't go, like that throws a wrench in your plans or your predictions.
Well, I mean, it really comes down to if Stafford can't go and Bennett has to play, and let's say it's 4 weeks, how does he do in those 4 weeks when he's playing
Yeah,
starters and he's playing all that? If they go, 3-1 and they're competitive and it's not like a really close 3-1, they played teams like, oh, we knew this team was going to suck and they still do.
yeah,
And we barely beat them out. And you're kind of like, yeah, I'll move him out and you switch up. But if he's going out there and he's playing good football and like it's, starting defenses, then do you sabotage the momentum that you have going? And do you sabotage the confidence that you're building in your younger quarterback?
the Dak Prescott, Tony Romo situation. Yeah, I get that.
Exactly.
So, not to harp on the thing with it too is like, I mean, granted, we're talking about Sean McVay, so Sean McVay could probably make a tallish turd throw a football, a polished turd throw a football well. So he, I mean, they'll probably be decent with either one. But that does raise a question: like, if he's doing well, do you ride with the hot hand? The next thing I want to talk about, Micah Parsons is supposed to play this week. He's supposed to suit up. So Cowboys fans rejoice. Maybe. Um,
He's not going anywhere this year.
yeah. I
It'll be
mean,
next off season, and they'll be
yeah,
like, "Hey, and now you have to make a deal." And Jerry Jones is going to be like, and Jerry Jones is putting a lot of this on the dude's agent. Which, interestingly enough, Micah Parsons shares or had shared an agent with T. Higgins up in Cincinnati,
yep,
and then the agent got fired, and they immediately had a deal. So I don't necessarily. I'm not saying that it's not a possibility that this agent likes to play super hardball and she's a
yeah,
big, jackass, and it's just like, I'm going to get my guy $500 million in 2 years, and they're just like, yeah, that's not going to happen, and then it slows things down because that's
yeah,
kind of what Jerry says, and I don't necessarily like Jerry Jones, but this dude has a history of losing people because of this stuff.
yeah. Jerry, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much on that because I have some things to say about Jerry Jones. I'm not even a Cowboys fan. I just think that with the rosters the Cowboys have had in the last, granted, I mean, he's a GM, but like with the talent that they could acquire, I think really where he sucks is hiring head coaches. I think he doesn't understand, you know, he'll hire a head coach that shouldn't be a head coach, or that's golden age was like 6 years ago, because he's like 6 years ago he ran a good football team. You're like, well, football's changed. Hire Sean
And
McVay. You could have hired Kellen Moore this offseason, who probably would have come and be your head coach, and you didn't because what, he went to the Eagles? I don't know. That one doesn't make any sense to me. Kellen Moore.
you don't want to hire a coach who's not only familiar with how you run things, but now is intimate with how your biggest rival runs things.
Or it could be reversed. Kellen Moore could have said, hell no, I'm not working for that man again.
I mean, honestly, that's probably a bigger thing is, and I think that's the problem with the Cowboys coaching is we've had this great roster. If Tony Romo had just come in 4 years later, if Tony Romo had been thrown to had been playing with this roster,
Yeah,
Cowboys are actual Super Bowl contenders every year.
maybe. Yeah.
Besides, breaking up his back or ribs every year.
Well,
But the problem with Cowboys coaches is that Jerry Jones doesn't hire somebody that goes, here's what I'm going to do with your system. Jerry Jones hires somebody that goes, what can I do for you?
yeah.
Jerry Jones wants to run the team. Jerry Jones wants to have the final say in everything. Jerry Jones wants to be the guy that's, when they go, oh, he did it, they don't go look at the coach and the quarterback, they go look at Jerry Jones.
Yeah, most really successful teams, like the GM is like talking to the head coach and like, what do you need? What do you
Mm-hmm.
need? What do you need? And what do we want? Like, what if I can go out and get anybody, who name somebody that you want me to go out and get, And I feel like Jerry Jones maybe doesn't do that. The next one, on a similar topic of lockouts, Terry McLaurin, he apparently is going to come back and practice, but now he's asking for like even more money than a rich, like his, apparently the negotiations are going well according to like insiders. But apparently he's asking for more money than DK Metcalf, and I think DK is getting 33 million a year, and that's paying a lot of money. That, I mean, granted, they have a quarterback on a rookie contract, so that's okay for the next 3 years. But or two, yeah, 3 years, I think now. If they extend him, I think it's 3 years. If not, it's two. But regardless, the point is they, like, this roster needs to be built out, right? And the Commanders have a good shot at being really good this year. But if you have to pay Scary Terry $33 million a year, I worry that, for Commander's sake, that they are going to be unable to acquire the assets that they need to actually round out their roster to compete for a Super Bowl. Um, Granted, maybe, I mean, that's not scary. That's not Terry McLaurin's problem, but at some point, like, at what point do these players are like, yeah, I can, because this is what I read. He's not asking for a certain amount of money. He's asking for a certain percentage of the salary cap. So every year he wants to make X amount percent of the salary cap. So he wants his contract designed that way. And I'm not sure how that works exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Could be wrong. So, because I'm not even sure like how many years in advance we know what the next year's salary cap is going to be, or that year's salary cap is going to be. And I'm pretty sure that it's negotiated through a CBA, but it could be different. So that being said, if he doesn't come back, I mean, he's really good. He's a second team All Pro.
Right.
So he's extremely good. And his ability to get open is like what really helped that off. Like, him combined with Jaden Daniels is really what it pushed that offense to that level that they were at last year. And I worry that
Mhm.
without him, especially if he doesn't get paid and they say we're going to trade him, because I'm pretty sure the Steelers were interested. Terry McLaurin, the Steelers are going for a all or nothing this year, and they were interested in trading a tight end for him, something or another. It might have been another team, but yeah. So that's
I mean, it's an interesting contract, but at some point, you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out, am I going to, like, you have to have a weapon for your quarterback.
yeah.
You have to have at least one good weapon. And then if everyone else around that is decent with a good coach and a good game plan, you can make that work.
Yeah.
You know, you can load up on all the stars in the world and still lose football games.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, true
But
number ones change in the wide receiver game. True number ones change the whole way you can design your passing concepts, because when you start, you know, when teams start having to cover heavy to a side, regardless of the numbers, these teams. I mean, and this has happened historically, but oh, they're gonna double team Mike Evans. Okay, so we're gonna put Mike Evans on the single side, and we're going to put everyone else on this side, and we're going to have numbers. Or you throw your star receiver into a slot, and now, okay, the best corner is in a slot corner on the other team. So they're either going to put a worse corner on the outside and move their best corner inside to cover this guy, or they're going to leave Mike Evans on their number three corner, or a safety, which is even, God forbid that, or even worse, you get them in a good matchup and they somehow have a linebacker out there matched up on Mike Evans or whoever your number one, CeeDee
it
Lamb,
starts if I'm a
Jamar
linebacker and I
Chase.
look over, if I'm a linebacker and I look over, Mike Evans is oh, that's my guy. I'm screaming for help.
I'm
I'm screaming for help, and as soon as that quarterback he starts getting in, I'm calling timeout. I'm like, hey, we
I'm
fucked up.
saying, what was that? My ankle hurts. I have to fall to the ground right now. My ankles
It's
will
crazy.
hurt before I get routed up. I will fake an injury to save face. I have to look at my children and be able to go
Yes.
home and look them in the eyes and say, I did not get crossed like I was on a basketball court by Mike Evans, by Jamar Chase, by Justin Jefferson. I don't want to.
Yep.
You get the point. Okay,
I had real bad cramps. It was crazy. I thought I was hydrated, but
I got my
something.
period. It was weird. Um, um, Also, I think that the Patriots. I don't know how good they're going to be, but just the Patriots vibe under Mike Vrabel has been undeniable.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name, the running back from Ohio State. He's looked good in off season.
Travion Henderson, yeah, really good.
Yep.
I mean, Ohio State is like they're like OU in the fact that if you draft a running back and the school was OU, Alabama, or Ohio State, or to some degree Michigan, to some degree actually maybe not so much lately, but historically Miami, we got a good guy. I don't have to. I if I was a GM, that's probably why I'm not a GM. Also, I'd be terrible. But if I was a GM and they're like, here's our draft board, we got all these running backs, I would look and I would find one of those schools next to that running back's name and be like, that's our guy. And they'd be like, you haven't watched his tape? I was like, don't have to. I know that's our guy. I don't have to watch tape. I know he's
So
gonna do something.
historically, the reason I think that happens is that when those schools are running into like these great running backs, however it may be, they run into a great running back and then they go to recruit you and they're going to the best guys in the country. They're like, hey, realistically, you're getting play time on this year. It's like, oh, well, you got this guy and this guy, and they're really good. And they're like, yeah, we know, and you're going to get play time. And they're like, oh, well, these guys already have a great rushing attack. We know they run the ball a lot, or they know they're going to run the ball, and I'm going to get play time there when there's a senior and a junior ahead of me already. Hell yeah, I'm going to go there.
It's also because coaches are smart. They'll go to a kid and be like, did you see Adrian Peterson? I coached him. And, like every adult knows, like kids maybe not, but most people know, like, oh, Adrian Peterson could have done that as a 12-year-old. But this coach is going to sit there and tell you that was Yeah, I taught him how to hit a hole at 117 miles per hour. Definitely. It's not because he's the
Adrian
freakiest.
Peterson weighed 150 pounds when he walked on campus. Did you see
Well,
what I did
Adrian
to you?
Peterson was 200. Have you ever watched Adrian Peterson high school highlights?
Oh yeah,
God.
no, it's.
I mean, he played
I
in
think my
Texas.
favorite. I think my favorite high school um, story about a high school running back going to college is was it Derrick Henry going to Alabama, and he's a freshman trying to learn pass protection, and Nick Saban, like the offensive coordinator, is tearing his ass up because he doesn't know how to do pass pro. And he's like, "Listen, coach, you got to give me some grace." In high school, they would turn around, they would hand me the ball, and I would run 40 times a game. That's
Yeah.
all I.
I know these people are like, this guy's got to get better at pass pro. I'm like, oh, God forbid the 6'4", 240-pound, 4'3" running back has never blocked a day in his life because you would be the dumbest coach of all time to give the football to a 5'7" white guy who runs a 4'9" 40 as opposed to him. Like, yeah, I'm not, dude. Derrick Henry.
Imagine, imagine, and I can see it, especially in a small town. Seeing that guy, he's like, "I'm going to be your running back." He's like, "Good." My son, my oldest son's the quarterback, and my youngest son is a wide receiver. So they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. So you're going to be your size. You're going to be great in the pass protection. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Coach, you've already dropped the ball."
Well, the funniest thing about Derrick Henry is he was a quarterback in high school because the high school coach was like, this guy is so good. How about we just get rid of the middleman?
Yep.
Like, why do I need a guy handing him the ball when it can just direct mail? Why would I do that? And then there's just like video, it's watching these like basically mutants. Like these people, I mean, you can go down a list of like Andrew Luck is one of them too, just a giant freak. Like these people who I don't understand how we exist in the same space. Like, how are we apparently the same species? I don't know because I'm a midget compared to you. And on top of being a midget compared to you, you're faster, stronger, quicker, probably smarter than me. It's like unfair. I'm glad we don't live in like shield and sword feudalism because I'm a serf and I know that. But that being said, it's just funny to watch them play high school football, like their highlight tapes, because you just watch it and you're, it's like, oh, okay, like they were never gonna make that tackle. That dude's 150 pounds, and Derrick Henry just kneed him in the side of the head because he went for a chop tackle, and the kid literally flew 7 feet away from him. Like it was a car crash. Like he hit Derrick Henry like Derrick Henry was a trampoline, bounced right off.
Yep.
All right, so moving on. I don't know how we got on that. Moving on, we're going to get into the UFL next. Um, so this whole Save the Stallions thing has been going on, and it's been entertaining to watch from an aspect of I get most of my UFL news through Reddit, just because the Reddit forum is active there and
Right.
people post every day. And I don't mean any disrespect because I can't read either. But football fans, we've got to start hitting the books because the comprehension, and maybe it's because the tweet was like very, tweets are condensed, but the interpretation of the tweet that I got when I read it was 5,000 season tickets sold in a week. Mike Repoli will be at the home opener on a Saturday night. Great. They heard 5,000 tickets sold in a week, or the team's gone for sure. And so everyone's freaking out. They're like, how could you give us a week deadline? That's impossible. And I'm watching it and I'm like, that's not what he said. But there's so many fans that are just pissed. They're like, this guy's coming on. He gave us a week. Like, that's unrealistic. They are talking shit about a guy that's trying, giving them an opportunity to save their team and also trying to save the league also. So while trying to
Mhm.
save the league, he's giving the best franchise in the league, the best, I guess they're not franchise, but the best team in the league, most historic team in the league, as far as championships go, obviously, a chance to save themselves. And half of Reddit is like, fuck this guy. And I'm going, I don't like, what do you want from this? What do you want from these people? I don't know.
I never saw what the actual tweet was from Mike, but I've kind of been keeping track of the story, and I was aware, okay, 5,000 season tickets in like this super small timeline, and he's saying the team can stay. That's what I was aware of.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
that's
was like,
not.
I've been reading his tweets. Like he keeps talking about it. Like the latest I saw today was they were at 22,000,
Yeah,
or not 22,000, 2,200. They
yep.
sold a suite, which he counted as like 200 season tickets, which I
Yeah,
was
he
like,
was
okay,
stoked
that's
about
cool.
it. He was like, I'm so
But
stoked.
like he's playing it slight, kind of like a slight asshole role. He's trying to agitate them. And I realistically 5,000 season tickets in a week is either you've already know the team where the team is moving and they are moving, or he's just trying to get the momentum going and
Yeah,
just trying to get some guarantee. Because a season ticket is here's the crazy thing about a season ticket. And like I know I was guilty because I didn't go to a couple of my games last year because it's like, hey, look, we suck, and I would rather not take time off of work when I can get paid. And
yeah,
it was just like a season ticket, those tickets are sold. It doesn't matter if they ever show up. You got the money for it.
yeah. Well, he's only asking for season ticket deposits, which is $50. So businesses in Birmingham step it up. But what I read the tweet. I literally read the tweet, and what I got from it was, if you sell 5,000 season tickets in a week, I'll be at the opener. I'll be there with you guys to celebrate how monumentous that is. And nowhere in there did he say, if you don't sell 5,000 season tickets in a week, we're done. And also, what you said, to get the momentum going, I think, as a businessman, he's using it as a leverage point. He's saying, he's saying these things, and then he's going to go talk to the city, talk to the people that run Birmingham Protective Stadium, and he's using it as leverage. Hey, that's fine. If y'all don't want to play ball, if y'all don't want to give me this stadium for X amount of dollars that we were willing to pay, we'll move. And they brought up Hoover Met as an alternative, which I looked into it. Hoover Met, apparently, Hoover, Alabama, is a suburb of Birmingham. And
Right.
according to everyone, it's like the happening spot. Like, everyone in the area is like, Hoover's a great spot. There's a lot of young families. It's growing super fast. If you live in the suburbs of Birmingham and you want to go somewhere to do something, you go to Hoover. So you already have that, Nat. And apparently the parking situation is better out there too. So,
Mm,
so the parking for Hoover Met is not as near a big a nightmare as the parking situation in Protective. There you go. So they also have I forgot they had the Iron Bowl, which I thought but I'm granted, don't play there. Apparently that one, I know that one's huge. It's like 70,000 seater, but I totally forgot they had the Iron Bowl. And a lot of people brought up using it as like a stopgap. So, hey, you come here for a few years, the marketing kicks in, everything gets built up, everything gets better. We start getting that, 15K fan base. And then once it gets to a point where, hey, we don't have enough room to fit this team in this stadium because we have such a big fan base, then you can move them back to Protective. That's a great idea. I will say this: baseball stadiums as football fields kind of suck.
yeah.
I'm not a huge fan. And
But I also think hitting on the baseball thing, I do believe they have regionals there for
yeah, that's a
the
week.
College World Series.
It's the same concept with the Eastern Michigan spring game. Schedule an away game.
Is it only one weekend, or is it one of those where they kind of condense on it over time?
It's an SEC. It's the SEC tournament is held at Hoover Stadium or Hoover Met. So it's from a Tuesday to a Sunday 1 week. So
Okay. So realistically, obviously, it's out 1 week,
yeah,
and then you have another week where you're probably getting it set up.
it doesn't take a week to set up a stadium unless they have no people working. They have no
I
people
mean,
working. It's different, but
realistically, I think the SEC would get it set up in no time.
yeah, the tear
I
down, they would
think
just, yeah,
I think the UFL would need more time.
yeah, that's fair. So, I mean, granted, what you have to understand about those processes too is that the stadium in most contracts where they're using like this, SEC signing a contract with Hoover Met, the stadium facility or staff is responsible for the setup. So whoever pays for the stadium, now the SEC might fund it, but the stadium itself is going to be set up by the staff. So I feel like at most, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like at most you have a 2 week gap where you can't play games there. Okay, football teams go on the road for 2 weeks all the time. I don't want to harp on the Hoover Met because actually, I think that Birmingham has a really good opportunity to sell 5,000 season tickets deposits by whatever time frame this guy's looking at, and the way that he's tweeting about it might be a little a-holy, but what I do think is that he is um, pleased with the results they've gotten. He's excited. He's talking about, we had 500 yesterday and the day before that, and we had 300 today. And he's saying those are all really good things. So he seems like he's pleased. I just think that, he's like a New Yorker. I don't know how many New Yorkers but
I had to translate when I worked at Pizza Hut. I had to translate for the New Yorker there because I was the only one that understood that he wasn't being a jackass. It's just how he talked.
Yeah,
Be like,
exactly.
hey man, you got to take that pizza over there. They forgot it on the other run. Just run it in. We'll get you an extra run. What do you mean I got to take that pizza? I mean they forgot that one, and so it's got to go to that house because they're missing a pizza. But I'm gonna give you a couple extra runs to make up for the money and the tips. Oh, okay, yeah, I got you, I got you. Like it's like, yeah, you just gotta like everyone else be like, I told you to take the pizza. No. He's not mad. He just doesn't understand. Just re-explain it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, exactly. Um, as far as anything else, yeah, I think that covers all the UFL topics. Unless you wanted to hit on anything else.
I didn't really see anything. We kind of went over relocation already.
Yeah.
Birmingham's really the biggest one. Dude, there's been a ton of signings this year. A ton of dudes have signed
I think it's
contracts with
actually
the.
like 60. It might be up to 100, but I think it's like 60 at least
It was
from.
like 100 something visits, and over 60 people signed.
Yeah, there you go. So
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. The UFL, as far as like putting out product, this is definitely, or I guess, what they pitch themselves as is which like, hey, like this is a place you come to move on to the NFL. Like this is for what they pitch themselves as. This is like the best
yeah.
year so far in like return rate on that.
It's a good place to go develop more, a good place to stay sharp on football. Like, hey, I want to go back to the NFL, but like I'm just struggling to find a place to play. Go to the UFL. You get to keep playing football. You keep playing dudes around that level, and you have a chance to go back up.
And you get tape, like that's important. Like
Yeah,
the teams will watch that and be like, oh, he does this. Okay, we like this. He did really good in this system. That's the system we play. It's a great. That's why
yeah.
spring football. There's a place for it. Um, I'm really praying that thoughts and prayers. I'm really praying that they that it sticks because I love football. I would rather watch football than any other sport. I would rather watch football than like when spring football's on. The only other sports that people watch are baseball and golf, and I love going to baseball games. But if you put it on a TV, I'd rather watch paint dry unless the team that I particularly enjoy is in the World Series, then I will watch it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I own season tickets for the not season tickets, but I own a bunch of tickets. I get a ticket voucher book for the missions, the AAA team here.
Double A, they're double A again. They were triple A.
That's right. Yeah, they're double A now. And I going to a baseball game is one of the best sports experiences.
Oh yeah,
Besides a rowdy football game, going to a baseball game is top notch. Watching a baseball game on TV, I can't do it. If it's not the
best.
Rangers in the World Series, I could care less.
One of the coolest things that happened was, well, it's super dumb, but was cool. Um, we had my unit had done like 3, 4 just NTC rotations. So we just went out to California. We didn't even do anything for real. We literally went to NTC 4 times in a year. And my platoon specifically did it 3 times. So we got honored on the diamond at the Round Rock Express game. We had to be in
Oh,
it was
nice.
bad. We had to be in uniform, but then we got into the game for free, and then we got to watch the game. Super fun. Everyone brought everyone got it for free. Everyone brought their families. It was super fun, super fun. One of the cool experiences, and I got it for free. And Round Rock Express, they're AAA. They are AAA. Stadium's really nice. Like you've been to the Mission Stadium, Wolf Stadium, or Nelson Wolf Stadium, trash can. Round Rock Express Stadium, awesome. Looks
I've driven past it a few times, but I haven't gone to a game. But I think maybe I think this season's wrapping up right now, but maybe next season, maybe we can pull something off over there.
I would love to. I wanted to go this year, but I ended up going to an Austin FC game. Moving on. Um, we're not getting into soccer. Moving on. We're gonna get into college football. Um, we're gonna give our picks because it's week 0. So this Saturday there is college football. We didn't hit off on that in the beginning, but college football starts this week. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna give our. I'm giving my picks for all 9 there's 10 conferences, but all 9 conferences that mean something right now because the Pac-12 doesn't mean something until next year. So that being said, do you want to get into that, or do you have any college football news you want to talk about?
No, I don't. I mean, college football is so hard to like really get into the preseason hype, and I know a lot of people make a big deal. Not it get the hype is there,
Yeah,
and one of the reasons the hype is so good is because you're getting so little information. You're just like, okay, this guy's starting,
yeah, and everyone
and
says
they play this week. There's no big scrimmages. They're getting rid of the spring games. You just go in there and you see what happens.
my favorite thing is we're Oklahoma fans. I'm an Oklahoma fan. Consume so much Oklahoma news, and this happens to me every year. Not every year, but the last like 7 years it's happened. Before the season, the off season, I'm like, whatever. And these 2 weeks in the year, consume so much Oklahoma football media that I get
Yep.
to a point where I'm like, there's no way we're not a top 3 team in the country. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, there's no way we're not a top 3 team in the country.
I'm definitely not that high up yet.
Throw the
I need to see
sketch.
some.
I throw the
I
schedule out. I throw everything that means something out, and I'm just like, a dude on yahoosportsradio.com told me that they're the best team in the country. I believe him with my whole heart. Nothing you can tell me will make me believe otherwise. So that's where I'm at right now. But I do watch some videos where it's like Oklahoma's going to win the SEC, and then I watch another video, like the next video, and the guy's like Oklahoma's going 4-8, and you're like, and I will yell at my screen. I'll be like, they're not going 4-8. They're not doing it.
we want Bama.
Yeah, I'll be like, we beat them last year. That's all that matters. Yeah, that's
My hype starts to kick on, and this is how it's been for the last couple of years. When I had my transplant, I was so ready for college football because I couldn't work for 6 months. Every Saturday, Dad's coming over, bringing the beers. I'm cooking. He brings over beers, and we would watch football from 11 a.m. until he got tired around 6:30, depending on if OU had a night game, and then he'd probably go home around then. If they had a night game, he'd stay for the night game.
yeah.
We just watched college football all day. But now it's when the new college football game comes out. When college football 25 comes out, I start playing it, and I'm like, dude, I'm so ready for actual college football. And then I played it all year. I think I got 34 days of playtime in. And then I was like, I'm kind of burnt out. I'm kind of burnt out. Got college football 26 comes out. I'm like, all right, well, I'm streaming it on Twitch. I'll get into it. I started my little dynasty, and I was like, I'm so ready for college football again. It's the best thing that's ever happened in my life. I'm
That
telling you
happen.
about
I
myself.
will play when we play our unit turkey bowl about 3 weeks before I get real serious about it. I've already drawn up plays this year because last year was not the result I wanted. And about the
You
second week
only
of
won by
practice,
27 in the final.
no, we didn't even. I'm not even going to get into it online. I can't because if
Do
someone
it,
sees
man.
this, I might get in trouble. But I have some words to say about things. But I'll be like 2 weeks into practice and I'll be like, I got real good shape. I could walk on a team. I could I could do it. My confidence is I have a confidence problem, and it's not because I lack confidence because when I start doing something, I believe I am the best, even though I know I'm not. But
Speaking
anyway,
of walk-ons, if this channel ever gets monetized, I'm gonna go pay for a kicking coach. I will be a junior at UTSA at some point in the next year and a half. I will walk on as a kicker.
It doesn't matter. All that matters is your sports eligibility. So you can have a full
Well,
on
technically, I'll
doctor.
be a junior. I'll be a junior in my classes. I'll still have 4 years to play, but I will walk on to UTSA as a kicker. We will film the whole process if we get this channel monetized.
They won't take you because the
Listen,
problem.
the first organ transplant patient to kick a 50-yarder to win a game in school history. Oh, dude, I just got to, if I can hit a 50-yarder, I got a shot.
Yeah, you're a crackhead. You're never going to hit a 50-yarder.
Dude, you don't know what I can
You
do.
should go walk on at like a Division 3 school. That's a story. They need the they you're not, it's whatever. No, I just go for it. You know what? Go for it. I'm not gonna say no. All right. So getting into it, I'm gonna start with the MAC. This is my prediction. I'm gonna predict the top two teams, the championship game for the MAC. I have Toledo and Ohio.
Okay.
I have Toledo winning. I think they're like betting odds favorites. It might be Ohio, but to be honest, I just I don't even remember the exact player, the exact plays. It was I watched the highlights of some player, and apparently he's returning. Apparently he's good for Toledo. Well, he looked good, and I was just sold then. The research on the Mac was very poor, not gonna lie, but I watched I watched two videos. I looked at betting odds. I saw who the betting odds favorite was. I think the betting odds favorite was Ohio, and just something told me go for Toledo. So I did. So that's my conference championship, Toledo, Ohio. I have Toledo winning it all. Mountain West Conference. Mountain West Conference is different.
Oh, you didn't even ask me my pick.
Oh, go for. Oh, my bad. My bad. Your
Yeah,
pick.
yeah, yeah. I did zero research.
Okay. Okay.
I'm the
Okay.
tailgate guy, but
Okay.
I like the coach from Northern Illinois, and he's got it.
Okay.
That dude was
Uh,
like, the transfer portal sucks. Get out of here. And I was like, hell yeah, coach.
I like it. All right. Northern Illinois. Mountain West Conference. Odds-on favorites, Boise State. I think the next odds-on favorite is Fresno State. And Fresno State, from what I can tell, has a good team. I think they're returning their quarterback. I could be wrong about that. But you know who I like?
I'm gonna don't say it because I'm gonna guess it. Colorado State.
No, I really actually I had a four-way. So this was a conference I sat there for like 10 minutes and was like, who do I pick? Because I was between Colorado State, Fresno State, Boise State, and UNLV. And I know last year
I
UNLV
forgot UNLV was good last year. I'm not gonna lie.
they should be decent again this year.
Mm-hmm.
By all reports, they should be decent again this year. They have a new head coach. I think their head coach left, but
That's the biggest challenge, but they don't have to stop
yeah,
Ashton Genty this year, so they got a chance.
yeah, yeah, that helps. I have Boise State and UNLV in the rematch, and I really, really wanted to pick UNLV, but I picked Boise State because I was like, "There's no way that's going to happen." So I picked UNLV, but I, I really, for some reason, like every year I have a random team. Like a couple years ago, it was like James Madison, like 3 years ago, and then like way before that, it was like Coastal Carolina that I get in on. I'm like, they're not my favorite team. I have my two teams, but I every year there's just a random team that I'm like, you go team. If you play anyone but my favorite teams, I'll cheer for you. And this year it's going to be UNLV, I think, until they lose the first three games. And if that happens, I'm out. But yeah. Um, next is the Sun Belt. So I think we talked about the Sun Belt last time. We talked about how they're pretty solid. They're like the third best group of six conference. Really, I think they're the second best group of six conference top down. I think the Mountain West is the best, but the Mountain West is the second best, but they're really top heavy with Boise State. And Boise State
Right.
are
Yeah.
taking all that dead weight up. Where I think the Sun Belt, like through and through, you have so many teams in the Sun Belt that could be really good. Um, so with the Sun Belt, I have James Madison,
Mhm.
JMU, and I have Texas State. Oh wait, your Mountain West Conference pick. Before I get into this, I'm sorry. Your
Oh
Mountain.
no, I was with you on Boise. Boy,
Okay,
I'm on Boise.
I'm flying through this. Sun Belt. I had James Madison, Texas State. I really hate doing this, but I picked. Actually, I don't hate doing this because screw him. I picked James Madison. I really thought about giving this to Texas State. I was like going out on top, just like UTSA did to Conference USA, going out on top, champion. No, I think Texas State's going to lose to James Madison. James Madison, uh, they just have a good roster, especially for a group of 16. Good roster overall, good team overall. Texas State also has a good roster, good team. They really go after the transfer portal. GJ Kinney does, and yeah, I think James Madison just has a history of being good wherever they're at. FCS now FBS, and Texas State doesn't have that history, so I just rolled with the history. For you, go for it.
I put a lot of actual thought into this one. I think James Madison is that favorite. I think everyone's kind of on the James Madison
Yeah.
board. Um, if you if you knew how many Heisman's I won with Jacquez Cross out of Arkansas State on CFB 25 and 26, you would understand why I'm picking them.
Okay. I like it.
So Arkansas State's going to win the Sun Belt. That's my very educated, very researched pick.
Your research is who have I used in college football? Okay.
It's who I used in college football, and I was able to run a very effective option running attack out of there. I have some great highlights on my Twitch channel. Check it out, the Red One Gaming. Um, yeah, and I just love that team. I played them. I played them in 14, 25, and 26 now, so that's my team.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Conference USA is next. Conference USA. Um, I think there's like 3 or 4 teams that I really considered putting in this one as well. And I can't remember the other two because I just remember the top two that I came. Liberty and Jacksonville State are my top two, my championship game.
Those are the
I
smartest picks.
I think Liberty's the betting odds favorite. I'm almost positive about that. I'm going with Jacksonville State.
I kind of like Jacksonville State more, but they're not my pick.
Okay. Who's your pick?
Yep. New Mexico State.
No, there's no way.
I'm playing a dynasty with them right now. 2 national championships,
Okay.
99 overall team. We just had 4 guys go to the league out of my secondary. My secondary got devastated after
Okay.
championship 2. I lost 4 guys to the draft, but we're reloading.
What year? What year are you on?
1 year 8.
Okay, so some kindergartner right now is gonna go play defensive back in New Mexico State because of you. That being
Not a
said,
kindergartner. They'd be like 3rd, 4th grade, probably.
yeah, whatever. Who cares? Yeah, I have Jacksonville State. I really was gonna put Liberty, but I wanted to be different. So now, not even that. I really like Jacksonville State, so I'm going with them. Next, this is a topic of interest for us. American Conference.
Yep.
My conference championship, I have Tulane and UTSA. No reason, no specific reason, those 2 teams, besides I think that they're clearly the best 2 teams. It's not because I'm a UTSA fan. I actually think UTSA has a really good roster this year. I think that they are returning no starters on defense, but I think
Yeah, that's going to be their biggest hurdle. But
I
I feel
actually
like
think
that's
that's a
going to
good thing.
be I think that's going to be less of an issue for them than
Yeah,
you would normally think that would be.
yeah,
And that could just be me seeing that, through rose tinted glasses. But go runners.
yeah,
So it's also my pick. I'm not biased at all. We definitely won't be to a game this year.
yeah, yeah. No, I have UTSA winning it, but probably actually when it comes down to it, Tulane will win it. But I have UTSA winning it because they are the
The
better
football
team.
guy in it says Tulane.
Yeah,
The guy that's my team knows they're going to pull something out. I
yeah,
don't put anything past Jeff Traylor. I think he's a great coach for this level. I would love to see what he could do with an actual like the NIL department in another school. But as long as he stays at UTSA, I'm very happy.
yeah. I feel like he is weird because he's so committed to making UTSA great that he's definitely got job offers all the time.
Well, he's
And
been interviewing a bunch of different places, and every year he goes and interviews. But I think he's doing it as a tactic where he does these interviews. Well, I don't think he necessarily did so much this year, but the year before he was talking to Houston. There was a conversation. I think someone almost was even linked him to Texas A&M at one point.
yeah, well,
But
he was linked to Texas A&M. Yes.
yeah, but he's going and talking to these schools, and he's like, "Hey, listen, you don't got to pay me what these schools are going to pay me, but pay me and get me the stuff I need to get these guys
Yeah.
going because
I think he's
we're
just
making really good progress."
to get the UTSA departments, like school athletic directors, all behind this NIL concept and like what they really need to be successful.
Mhm.
Next, I have the ACC, not the AAC, ACC. Um, could have gone a few ways in the ACC, but what I decided was Clemson. Odds on they're in the playoffs last year. They're returning their quarterback who might win the Heisman. Klubnik, really good. Um, I went with Georgia Tech as the other team.
I've seen that. I've seen Clemson and Georgia Tech a lot.
They run a very old school style of football that it's really hard for modern college football teams to match up on. Now, they're not running the fear, don't get me wrong, but they like they line up, they get real big heavy dudes and they run the football and their quarterback is tough as nails and
Yep.
they it's just I feel like it's a matchup nightmare for teams that are trying to play to trying to play modern football. I just feel that they do things that most teams aren't equipped to play against until you get into a Clemson level team, and then that's where they're going to lose is Clemson. So I have
Yeah.
Clemson. Your pick.
I was I I was leaning on Clemson. I think Clemson is an obvious favorite. They they honestly had a down year last year.
Yeah,
Everyone, but the quarterback, Cade, he's supposed to be really, really, really good.
yeah.
Um,
Austin native, Cade Klubnik.
yep, he's supposed to be really, really good. And but I do like the point you bring up about Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech loads up with those big, heavy guys. It hits you in the mouth football versus and against most teams, excluding like those teams that you expect to be in the playoff every year, where they're like, we got to get guys that are fast enough to get to the ball quick. Doesn't matter how fast you get to the ball.
Well, it's really what happens is that you have such a vertical game nowadays, so much passing, so much airing it out, and these some teams will go really small. A good example of this is TCU, not when they went to the national championship because they're big then, but TCU when they first entered the Big 12, or actually a better example would be West Virginia. West Virginia had when Geno Smith, they had didn't have super big wide receivers. They had Tavon Austin, but they went so vertical on you, and the game hadn't wasn't prepared for it. So
Mm-hmm.
most teams didn't have linebackers that could run with slots like that, and most teams weren't playing the 4-2, the 3-3-5 or the 4-2-5 that teams are playing today. So most teams
Right.
didn't have the speed to match up with those insane slots. So teams, a lot of smaller schools, they go small and then they go fast and vertical. But
Yeah.
a lot of the bigger schools have the linebackers to run vertical with them. And all these other smaller schools are now catching up. All linebackers are dropping. Like bet you if you got average weight of a middle linebacker, it's like 220 and it used to be like 240, 245.
Yeah.
And
The linebackers today are closer to safeties of
they're like
a
your
while ago.
classic big run stopping strong safety because they can run vertical with a route, right? But what they're doing is saying, okay, if you can have a 220-pound linebacker, we have a 267-pound fullback that's going to run through his teeth.
Yep.
He played
And
linebacker in college and or in high school, and no one recruited him because he couldn't run vertical with routes. So he's mad at your middle linebacker for taking his spot because that's what he wanted,
Yep.
and now he's going to kill you. So
And that's my point is these guys, most teams, it's hard for them to get a guy that can drop weight, maintain speed, or they drop weight to build up speed, but maintain the strength that you need to have against those big teams. Clemson's one of the teams that's going to have guys that are going to be okay. He's big and fast,
yeah,
or he's small. He's stronger than you think.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah. So obviously, when you get up to that level, I think Georgia Tech isn't quite on the level of Clemson. Big shocker, but I think once they get up to playing that level, and that it's
To
just
be fair, Georgia Tech ran Georgia into 5 overtimes last year.
yeah, and that's that. Why you watch that game, and I think they returned most of their players. You watch that game, or at least the ones that you care about, and you watch that game and you say, "Oh wow, that team's a problem, and they're a matchup nightmare for like even big teams aren't used to getting matched on the physicality. So like a Georgia isn't used to getting. Oh, these guys are just as strong and just as physical as us, and maybe they're not as fast, but it doesn't matter when you're not used to getting matched on the physicality and you start. It's a punch in the face, and if you don't recover, it's gonna be a long day. So
Yeah,
moving on, I have the Big 12. Um, we talked about them a little bit. This one was also a struggle for me. Struggled between
Big
three.
12's a crapshoot. It's like it could.
Yeah. I at first I had Arizona State and Texas Tech, but then I really did a little bit more research. And actually, what really happened was I went Arizona State, Texas Tech, then I went Arizona State, Kansas, and my final point was Texas Tech, Kansas State. Um, I think Texas Tech roster is just way different than it was a year ago, and Kansas State. The reason I picked them is I think I believe in their head coach. Head coach is incredible, and um, just looking at the production that they're returning and the production that they usually get out of their players from their system, and just the system that they run. It's a very, very, very dominant system, and so for that reason, I picked Kansas State to win the Big 12. Yeah,
It's wild.
yeah.
Um, I want to confirm the exact number before I make my comment here. Um, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah. I so shout out to Danny from this morning because we started talking about football. Texas Tech is like that. It's like who do you got? And I was like, well, I really like Texas Tech in the Big 12. They've completely they got that roster loaded up. Another team that loaded up like quite a bit, like they lost a few players, but they brought in a lot of talent. West Virginia.
Yeah, they brought in Zach Alley from Oklahoma, and they brought in Rich Rodriguez, a little throwback for them.
Yep, Rich Rodriguez, Zach Alley. They got a lot of SEC, Big Ten offensive linemen that came in. They got the defensive end from UTSA. Um, I mean they got quite a few guys too. And something about West Virginia I just like.
Okay, so
I don't. It's not like I just love West Virginia football.
yeah,
I just like West Virginia. It's like they shouldn't be in the Big 12. Regional conferences are always going to be better. Get out of here. Go to the ACC. Go somewhere else.
yeah,
Same U2, Cincinnati, UCF. Go away. I love the Big 12 because the Big 12 is a crapshoot. When Oklahoma and Texas were there, they were always running it because they were blue blood programs. It was mainly Oklahoma. Oklahoma was running there because it's a blue blood program. They're beating everyone out in recruiting. They just got the regional lockdown. But there would always be like at least one, maybe two teams that were just like that year they were there.
yeah,
Next year they're gone. Or maybe they lasted a couple years and they were there.
yeah.
So it's such a
Maybe
crapshoot.
they
Texas
lasted
Tech
a
has
couple
to be the
years, and then their coach got fired because of a bunch of sexual assault allegations, and then things changed, Maybe.
I mean,
Who knows,
why you
Baylor?
gotta make such a big deal out of it? I just covered up a few felony horrendous
Yeah,
crimes, all right?
yeah, Baylor. Who knows?
Let these
Baylor.
dudes play football. Let
Yeah.
those kids play football. All
Let the
right, we're not
kids
going to get monetized,
play.
so I'm probably never going to do that walk-on thing with UTSA at this rate.
Yeah, no, I'm ruining that for you as much as I can. I'm trying to cut that dream off before it gets killed for you by them. So you have West Virginia, Texas Tech.
I would need to do more research on West Virginia. I'm going to say Texas Tech for now. I
Okay.
think we're agreed on that. They brought in
No,
so
I
many
said
guys.
Kansas State.
What?
I said Kansas State.
I know you. Oh yeah, that's right. You said Kansas State.
I just think Texas
Kansas
Tech's going to beat
State. I
it.
struggle on Kansas State because I feel like they constantly have a good team, and then something happens and they just don't get there.
I don't know.
Something happens and they just don't get there. They fall short here. They fall short there.
They're getting there this year.
Um,
Otherwise, I will cry. No, I'm kidding.
so Texas Tech, just because they loaded up there, it seems like, and people are a lot more receptive now. Shout out to Dan again about people loading up on the transfer portal because Colorado kind of did it. Deion Sanders brought in so many new guys, and he struggled that first year. But the second year, even though they didn't have the greatest like strength of schedule, like they absolutely turned the program around from where it was. So people are a lot more receptive to like the portal,
Okay.
like loading up guys and then coming into a system.
Well, yeah. Also, when you have a team like that and you turn your program around, like, yeah, it makes sense to retire jerseys. Moving on. It makes sense to retire jerseys of a quarterback who went 12-10 or whatever he went. Everyone
13 and 12.
13 and 12. Everyone should do that. Moving on.
Off
Big
of that,
10.
I should get my flag football from when I played flag football as a child. I should get that jersey retired.
Yeah. I should get my football jersey at my high school retired
Yeah.
as like the last white corner they ever had. Anyway, moving on. Big Ten. Oh, I have Ohio State and Penn State. I think that's obvious. I think a lot of people are picking Penn State, and I'm
I
not.
think Penn State's roster this year, even though they lost Abdul Carter, lost
Yeah,
a couple other guys, the wide receiver room is so much better than it was last year.
I agree. I'm never going to be sold on Drew Aller, even though I'm sure he's great, and I actually have seen him play. He's really good. I just watched him play in the playoffs last year and I just can't get behind it. That being said, he's good. I'm not saying he's bad. Before Penn
Mhm.
State fans are like, "You dumb piece of crap. You don't
The
even
guys I
know
play with
that."
in my online dynasty are Penn State fans. I'm going to clip this for
I
them.
think he's really good. I just don't know. You know what it is? It's his name. I don't think Drew Aller's a quarterback name. I'm gonna say it.
You know what? I'm gonna say something too.
but
I agree.
yeah, there's something like the name. I don't know. Anyway, he's
Name
really good.
change. Hey, we can crowdfund a name change.
He's really good. I think Ohio State is going to be better because they've been better consistently. So I will ride or die with Ohio State winning the Big Ten until I am proven wrong. Granted, everyone's going to say Michigan won 3 years in a row. Things have changed. Ryan Day
Yeah,
got hurt.
because
Still,
Connor Stallions doesn't work there anymore.
yeah. Well, yeah, we'll go with that. Uh, it's not that Jim Harbaugh left. It's of course it's because Connor Stallions, the greatest asset Michigan has ever had. I think Ohio
Yeah.
State's going to win. Who do you have?
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say Penn State.
Okay, that's fair. I would honestly, it was a crapshoot. I was tossing a coin basically, but I just can't pick against Ohio State until proven otherwise. I would be
I mean,
glad.
it does feel wrong. I mean, it's so weird to pick against a national champion who
Yeah,
not only was the national champion, but they dominated
yeah.
through
Caleb
that playoff.
Downs is absolutely maybe one of the greatest safety prospects I've ever seen in my life. Freak of nature athlete. And then they also have what is his name? Jeremiah Smith, who is the best receiver recruit since Julio Jones. So I just think that it doesn't matter who your quarterback is, as if you can throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith, who now has a year of college football under his belt, you're probably going to have a decent chance. And Penn State's really good. Like I don't have a problem with Penn State. I would not be surprised if Penn State won it. I just physically can't pick them.
I'm
And
going against the feeling in my gut to pick Penn State
yeah, okay, that's fair.
because I want to. I'm thinking I'm sitting there. I'm like, no, Penn State. Like they did all of their losses were super close last year. I
Yeah,
don't think they
they
lost
were.
a single game by more than 7 points.
Even the playoff game they lost was like down to the wire. So
Yeah, they played Notre Dame.
yes,
Yeah, I mean they lost to
they lost
Oregon
in
in
like
the
a
big.
fake punt. Like basically they lost on a fake punt or something, or a like a drawn offsides punt, and then Drew Aller threw an interception in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
Literally right as the coaches or the announcers were like, "This guy's never thrown an interception in the fourth quarter," and then
no,
the
because
next,
they're like they looked at the script and they're like, we got to jinx this guy somehow.
yeah, he might have not thrown a pick. I might be thinking of a different game. I might be getting my games confused.
No, I do think there was a game where he made like it was like they were close, and I want to say it was that game, and then all of a sudden it was the late mistake, and you're just kind of like, oh, and he'd been doing good all game or
All
decent all
year,
game.
I don't think he had made a
Oh yeah,
mistake like that all year. Moving on, I think we're in agreement. Moving on, we're going to get into the SEC,
yep.
my conference championship for the SEC, because I did research, and at first I thought they still had an East and a West,
No,
and they don't.
only team left with divisions is the Sun Belt. God
Yes,
bless the Sun Belt.
God bless
Sun
them.
Belt and the MAC.
Yeah, I actually appreciate that. It's like they're holding it down for us division guys, the guys that like that stuff.
Well, MAC, I don't think MAC has divisions,
Oh,
but MAC is pure football love.
yeah,
MAC
Mac is
Chin,
pure football love.
14 dudes watching a football game in a blizzard
That's
is pure football love. And the
those
Sun
guys.
Belt with this, it's regional, it's divisions. I like the Sun
You know
Belt.
that Iwo Jima statue where they have the dudes putting up the flag? We need a
Okay.
Maction statue like that.
The MAC
Just
just
dudes,
section, they're just holding up college football.
classic Midwest dudes, shirtless in a blizzard, jelly rolls
Cussing out
everywhere.
kids 30 years like younger than them.
Yeah, fucking piss drunk, standing there
Piss drunk.
with a smeared letter on their chest. Anyway, moving on. SEC, I realized when I realized they didn't have divisions, which I didn't know how I didn't know that. I should have guessed that from last year, but who knows? Um, Oklahoma versus
Mm-hmm.
Texas. That's who I have. And you can imagine who I have winning that game. Oklahoma. I have Oklahoma winning the game. I have
Yeah.
Oklahoma winning the SEC. Um, again, there's no bias. This is all based off of stats and the fact that I've watched 2 weeks straight of Oklahoma football media, and I swear John Mateer is the next Baker Mayfield. I swear this is the best defense Oklahoma's ever had. They're the best defensive line in the SEC, the best secondary in the SEC, and I think that Kip Lewis is the best linebacker in the SEC. And I think our offense is going to be great. I think our offensive line is going to be way better than they were last year. So I'm picking Oklahoma. And no one can talk. I'm not going to listen to anyone that tries to tell me otherwise because I'm stubborn and I don't want to hear it. Who do you have?
As an Oklahoma fan, I'm going to try to talk you a different direction.
You're not.
I think easily right now the best two teams on paper are Georgia, and as much as I hate to say it, Texas.
Don't have a quarterback. Texas
Georgia's
lost too
playing at a
much.
high. Georgia's playing at a high, is always playing at a high level. Kirby Smart's a great coach. I don't think Alabama is going to right all of the mistakes that they had made of the last year, where they were just dropping easy games and making mental errors and stuff like that. I think that culture that Nick Saban had that kind of relaxed when I can't remember his name. DeBoer came in. I don't think that's going to get completely corrected this year. I think they're going to drop a couple games. Maybe not drop games like, oh, you should have won that game, but they're going to have some close games. They're going to lose. They're going to be out. Texas, I think Archie Manning, we don't know if he's going to be an upgrade over Quinn Ewers,
He's an
but he's
upgrade.
not going to be worse.
Definitely an upgrade. I think so. Just watching.
So
But
I think those two guys are the best two looking teams on paper. So looking at schedules, looking at dudes on the rosters, and doing a lot of like, hey, like these are the matchups that are happening up. This team has a good shot, but then they hit this stretch and it's going to throw them off. And I think that's why I'm going to pick Oklahoma.
Listen to me right now. If paper mattered on the gridiron, then we wouldn't play the games. Oklahoma by a million.
Boomer.
I'm not doing that right now. I have neighbors.
Boomer.
Booner. Yeah, so we
You
have
sound like you're two houses over.
yeah, we have that was our completely unbiased 100%.
Unbiased. I mean, I did all the math and I was like Georgia, Texas, Georgia, Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma. I don't know how it got there, but it's there. It makes
Well, everyone
sense.
knows if you add Georgia plus Texas, uh, subtract the incest, um, divide by the oil money, you get Oklahoma. Everybody
Mhm.
knows that. Yeah, I think that's everything. I think we talked literally about everything that we were supposed to talk about.
We did Big 12. We did the ACC.
Yeah,
We did Big 10.
yeah,
We did the SEC.
yeah.
Don't think we
So
missed. No, we didn't miss nobody. Who do you
there's
got taking the Pac-12?
Washington State. I,
I'm agreed. But
you know
yeah, we
what?
got them all.
You know what? No, I lied. Oregon State. Oregon State's taking the Pac-12. Prove me wrong. Um, I think that's everything. So, anything about tailgates that we needed to get into today?
I don't think that I really want to cover anything. I am working on a couple things for. There's going to be a stretch when you're not going to be here. I'll have my buddy Raymond here helping me out. We'll be just doing stuff here in the room. I'll have the setup. We'll both be in the same room, and then I'm gonna get some clips going where I'm gonna do some drinks and do some different ideas for tailgates, stuff that we could do. Um, some foods you're like that doesn't make any sense for
Oh,
that to
I
be at
have
a
some.
tailgate. It was like I would never see you would never eat that at a tailgate. I'm gonna be like, sir, we've established the rule: beer in this hand, food in one hand, drink, drink. That's it. It could be tailgate food. So we're gonna work some of those foods in. Like, how do I make this into this situation? Yeah. So we'll do some drinks. We'll do some setups. And as crazy as it sounds, I haven't even told you this. I'm working on getting probably one of the best tailgate games out there. And I won't name it right now. I won't name it right now because I want to set something up official with these guys.
Tailgate
Okay.
who?
A tailgate game so that I want to get and I want to do video of it of us doing this game.
Okay.
I haven't even told you about it. Okay.
Yeah, I feel betrayed. Okay, so that's it. That's the show. Um, you can follow us. I'm gonna have all of our stuff to follow down here. Um, and yeah, follow us, please. Let me
Like
click
the
on
video,
that.
please. Follow us on YouTube. The best way to get a hold of us is going to be through YouTube or Facebook right now. It's
Yeah.
just a lot easier for me to keep track from those because I'm actually getting the notifications really easily.
If you have questions, let us know. If you want to talk shit, do it. I love talking shit. And
Yep.
yeah, any suggestions, please. We're open to anything, and we appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. That's the show. Thank you guys.
Peace.